Let's go on.
Women should be encouraged to be financially independent of men.
They want to. I don't think they need to be encouraged, but they want to. Deep down, truly deep down inside, they all want to be supported by a man who is financially independent, and they want a man to provide for them, even though that woman is very financially successful herself, even if she makes six figures, even if she makes $1 million a month, she still wants a man that makes more than that.
I think this one's a no-brainer, right? I believe that men and women are equal. They're just not the same. And I think with that equality comes equal responsibility to be able to provide for yourself. And when I think about what could provide oppression, if that were to exist, would be this idea that they were tethered to men to live their lives. I think if you remove that tethering, then obviously women are free to do whatever they please and exit very bad situations. You know, one of the most unfortunate stories that you hear so often is that so many women are forced to live in very dangerous circumstances because they don't know who's going to provide for their child if they leave. They don't know who's going to provide for them if they leave. And so I think financial independence for anyone is always just a good idea.
Yeah, I want to speak about this through a different lens. I think it should be like women should be empowered to be financially independent. Encouraged versus empowered takes a different sense of support. Speaking to how men feel the need to provide. Sometimes when a woman makes more than a man, men can feel like they're less of a man because the woman is taking more of the boss and provision kind of role in the household. So I think that
and typically the relationship does not work if the woman is making more than the man. The majority of people that get divorced usually happens when the woman starts to make more than the man. Okay, because at that point, she is now seen in the breadwinner position. She is now seen wearing the pants, and she is put in the masculine role that she does not want to be in. And yeah,
it's important to be able to equip women with being able to feel like they are empowered, and that is a feminist thing because it is breaking the gender norms of what is masculine and what is feminine role.
Yeah, I also think it is important though in this conversation to recognize the women that don't want to be financially independent in a marriage. You know, there's a lot of women in our country that enjoy being mothers, and I think being a mother is one
incredibly valuable.
Yeah, exactly, and that doesn't necessarily mean that they're stuck in their situation because they're doing something very valuable by sacrificing that freedom in order to raise our next generation.
It's just getting a choice, right?
And their love is their labor,
Exactly,
right?
right,
Their love
exactly.
is their labor in their home.
Okay, I have a few different thoughts. One of them would be the importance of the family. I think women should go out and be financially smart and know how to make money and be able to make money for themselves. But being independent of men leaves this notion of that you can never trust a man or that men are unsafe. And the problem that this brings is in the family. I think
Can I ask you why?
Hold on, I'm just going to finish my thought. I'll explain. With the nuclear family, you have, and this is for both men and women, they're the most happiest when they are in that kind of dynamic. And to your point about marriages where women makes more than the man, that's one of the biggest indicators of divorce. And I think there's a societal and honestly God-given responsibility for a man to provide. So when men are told that women are going to be independent of you, you're stripping away a lot of their purpose and responsibility to be caretakers of women, to provide for women. I would also say that the biggest group of people that are on antidepressants, and it's 1 in 4, are women that are 40, have a career, and have no family and no kids. Which is the real meaning of life is community, family, and relationships.
look at this guy, man. He's just absolutely dumbfounded. What? These guys don't get it right here. This guy though, explaining it, he knows, man. He's a very intelligent man. I absolutely, yeah, he knows what's up.
Relationships.
Can I
He's talking about
respond
specific
to one
women.
specific thing you said, which is
life, though.
the demographic of women over 40 taking antidepressants, and you're using that as proof that they're the most depressed group. Men just kill themselves. So
Yes, but
all
those
the
are
men that have
All right, let's see what does it say. All right, in 2020, men died by self-deletion 3.88 times more than women. White males accounted for 69.68% of self-deletion in 2020 by the American Foundation for Self-Deletion Prevention. Okay, it's true. Men do off themselves at a much more higher rate than women. there are also more men who are homeless, men who are in prisons. Okay, so no matter how much you want to say that men have it easy, men have an easier time, we really don't. Okay, because life as a man is significantly more challenging and difficult than life as a woman. Okay, because not only the fact that they have to provide value, but the fact that they also have the world against them as well. Every man, every single man. Okay, and the fact that there's really very little support for men as opposed to the support that a woman has. Okay, so look, what he said is true. The most unhappiest demographic of women is women who are 42 years old, who is on antidepressants, making close to six figures every year, lives in a big house, no family. Absolutely unhappy. I've seen so many women out there who say that, who are career women in their late 30s to 40s, to say, listen, I would give all this up if I could have a family. Because women find the most greatest fulfillment in their own life by starting a family and raising children. Okay.
Killed themselves, if they didn't do that and were still here, men would predominantly be more depressed than
That's
women.
a really-
There's no basis for
There's-
that. There's
but
no-
also the
Men
correlation
statistically
between-
kill themselves more.
But we're talking about two completely different points.
Well, I think
mental
he's just
health-
saying that statistic is a little bit
I'm saying
difficult
that
to
it's
process
out of
because,
context because the men that
there's other factors.
Yeah,
like
there's
you guys
other
said.
factors
There's
going
always
into it,
going to
and
be
it's-
other factors, but that's
Yeah,
a
we're
clear
just pointing it out.
indicator that women at some point, whether they started wanting a career, will eventually want to fall into a role of being a mom, having children, because that is what women derive the most happiness from.
You got a lot of studies and stats over here, which is cool. But like when we're talking about financial literacy and financial freedom, there are a lot of women that have the ability, that decide to step back, all those types of things. None of that has to be taken away or omitted in order for them to be empowered. People should be able to do in their households what they want to do. And I don't think anybody's trying to take that option away from women. I think y'all think people are, but I don't think that's really happening.
But they are.
No.
But they are. We see that in society today. People demonizing women for choosing to stay at home. Female empowerment also means empowering women, again, to make the choice that fits them, their choices, and what they want to do. It is just as powerful, just as influential, just as important as a choice to make to raise your kids at home, if that is what you want to do, and also be the CEO of Walmart if that's what you choose to do. We can empower women to be girl bosses, whatever you want to say.
Would you
But-
empower a male friend if he told you that he was going to quit his job to be a full-time stay-at-home father?
If he wants to.
What?
So
I would ridicule that man. You kidding me? Even if he physically cannot work, if he can mentally figure out a way to make some money to earn a living. Okay, even if he's at home, he better be finding a way to make some money at home, especially with the internet. You kidding me? He better be doing that. And if he's gonna quit his job just to stay at home, he's gonna cook for his lady. Honestly, I just see that relationship as a whole disaster. Absolutely disaster. For a man to simply be a stay-at-home dad while his wife goes out and makes the money, that's a complete switch of gender roles, meaning that he's picking up the feminine role and she's picking up the masculine roles. He's the one that's there supporting and she's the one that's providing. And that's going to lead to a lot of unhappiness, especially if the woman did not sign up for that. Okay?
Cash in, buddy.
That's good. I just want to make sure because like you're only defending women who get demonized for doing this, and you're not like
Which is
advocating
minority.
for men to want to step up and do that too. You're only
Because most men don't want to.
Why not? Why don't you want
Because
men?
they don't want
Because
to.
they just don't
And
want
you-
to.
I don't
It's
want
a
to.
choice.
I just wanna make sure I follow your logic.
Are you pro choices or pro less choices?
This is a trap. This is a trap.
What do you mean by that?
Are you pro choices? Are you
He's
pro less
trapping you.
choices?
When I asked him why he doesn't encourage men, he said because they don't want to do that. So then why is it a problem
Because
if
it's
women
about
don't want to be
choice.
stay-at-home?
It's
I'm not
about
encouraging
It's
women to
women's
stay at
choice,
home.
too.
I'm not encouraging
But
women
we
to stay at
never
home.
said
I'm
that.
saying that they have a choice, and I'm not for taking choices away from women. You may be. I don't know.
All right, reset.
They got too heated.
For taking choices away from women. You may be. I don't know.
All right, reset.
They got way too heated up there. God damn.
Period pain is exaggerated.
Don't know. Probably is. But I'll tell you one thing though. Periods make can make some women absolute bitches.
Okay, I'm glad no one stepped forward for that.
I'm gonna change my mind. I'm just kidding.
All right, next prompt. Innocent men suffer because of feminism.
Yes. Yes. Because women can simply go out and make some false accusations on a man and completely ruin his life, even though they're unfounded. Okay? Women can easily go to the police and say that this man, he raped me, even though that they were both completely consensual, but just because she regretted it the next night because she had a little bit too much to drink, she can easily go ahead and ruin this man's life, even though that she has zero to no evidence. And yet, because she made that claim, there's going to be an investigation, there's going to be coverage, and because of that, instantly that man's life is ruined. Okay? Women can simply destroy a man's life by just 3 simple words. He raped me. He assaulted me. Okay? He hit me. Those words, he's already going to get in handcuffs. He's already going to have a mark on his reputation, on his record. And already life is going to be much more difficult for him because of feminism. Don't get me wrong. Feminism, really what it says is feminism, the advocacy for
Feminism.
the advocacy of women's rights on the basis of equality of the sexes. Now look, men and women as human beings deserve to be treated with the same equal level of respect. Okay? However, they're not the same. They may be equal, but they're not the same. Okay? They both have separate roles in society, in the confinements of a relationship, in the world. Okay? Men have a certain duty to perform. Women have another duty to perform. Men must create, provide to society and to the world. Women must support their man.
Innocent men suffer because of feminism.
So I think today in 2022, feminism has changed drastically, and I think it's really turned into demonizing masculinity in men while promoting masculinity in women, and with that, good men are being pushed to the wayside and pushing parts of themselves down and not embracing their own masculinity because society is telling them that it's wrong.
100%. I think like anything that is deemed masculine is seen as now toxic. And I see it all over social media. You can't really say anything or do anything, especially even like against or even for yourself, without it being like some weaponized in some way or shape or form.
Yeah. It's a shame that feminism has become less about actual equality and more about supremacy. It's not about equal rights between men and women. It's about women being superior to men. And women don't even like it anymore, right? I hear conversations with so many girls that are friends of mine. They're like, I hate what feminism has become because it makes me feel as if I'm a victim, and also too that men aren't supposed to be men anymore. It almost absolves us of the responsibilities that we have as males in society to be providers, to be protectors.
Right.
And innocent men suffer because we're made out to be toxic because we're fulfilling our roles as men in this world. It's absolutely insane.
Yeah, and I mean, I disagree a little bit with saying that men have to be providers, but I think, demonizing those men is part of the problem.
Yeah, I would disagree a little bit, but I think also too, though, what we probably would agree on is that in a society that makes women feel as if they need to be more like men, all you get is really bad versions of men. And when you have men who are increasingly more feminine, you get men who aren't being men at all anymore. And I think like that's a huge societal problem, and we see the ripple effects and the consequences of that every single day.
He's absolutely right. All these gentlemen make a great point. Yes, feminism has completely made women more masculine, and they have made more men feminine. And because of that, we do not have a functional society because we have no clear indications of what makes a man and what makes a woman. With all this talk about, oh, man can be women and women can be men, it completely is insane. The fact that this country is discussing these kinds of topics, and the fact that men are able to go out and feminize themselves, and the fact that it is socially acceptable means that we are as a society degrading. Okay? Because once you strip away gender roles from the sexes, then society as a whole will start to deteriorate. It will start to deteriorate. And it's absolutely insane the fact that we live in a world, in a society that allows this kind of behavior. I absolutely am appalled and disgusted by it all, truly and deeply. Okay? Now look, people can express themselves however they want, okay? I don't mind it. But they need to also adhere to their appropriate gender roles as well. Okay? And men need to do what men do. Women need to do what women do. And that should not be compromised or changed at all.
When I started hearing y'all talk, y'all have a huge misconception of even what feminism is.
Well,
the goal
please
of
explain- yeah,
feminism
explain it
isn't
to
to
me then.
demasculate men. The goal of feminism is to fight for social, political, and economic equality for everyone, regardless of
equality
your
of
race,
opportunity
gender.
or equality of outcome, because it used to be equality of opportunity, and that's when I would say I would be a feminist.
But either
now it's
way-
become equality of
But
outcome.
Hold on, but either way, what y'all are talking about is feelings.
Right.
Y'all talk.
No, they're talking facts, man. All you feminists, betas, talk feelings. Except maybe you, bro. You're kind of cool a little bit. But all the rest of you are talking about feelings, okay? Now look, this guy right here, okay, Blondie, makes a good point, okay? Equality means equality of opportunity. It does not mean equality of outcome, okay? Just because a woman can be a CEO doesn't mean that she has the same outcome as a male CEO, okay? Just because there are those positions open doesn't mean that she's entitled to what that man is being worth and paid. If a woman is working at a restaurant and she is an employee and she wants to get paid as the manager, she obviously is not going to get paid more because she is a lower ranking than him, and she does have the opportunity to be that manager. That does not mean she deserves the same outcome just because she is just a regular social or regular employee that's lower than her in the hierarchy.
About I don't like how women make me feel in society about crying. How women make
Well,
me.
the question
Hold
was
on,
about
hold on,
feelings.
hold on. No, hold
It was
on.
about are men affected?
Hold
That's
on.
feelings.
Yeah, but
So yes, that's the
but
conversation.
feminism itself is not about feeling. It's about, like you said, outcome. It's about the wage gap. It's about having access to
Which doesn't exist,
The wage gap does not exist.
by the way,
wage gap?
right? But anyways,
Hold on, hold on, hold on.
I let you talk.
No, hold on. No, you didn't let me talk though. Hold on. No, you didn't let me talk though.
It's
Hold
about
on.
feelings, right? You don't want to talk about how men feel. Let's talk about how women feel. Let's talk about feminists.
Again, it's not
have
about
turned-
feelings, period.
how
That's my
feminists have
point.
turned
It's
on
not
other
about
women.
feelings. It's not about
have
feelings,
turned on
period.
other women.
Wait, can we have the prompt again?
Yeah, let's cut back to the prompt because it didn't have feelings. in it.
Exactly.
Feelings,
Right.
It's about
Innocent men suffer because
Oh,
of
what are you
feminism.
talking about?
And so
Yeah.
can I pose this question?
that is
as,
still about
on
feelings,
a
isn't
day
it?
like on a day by day basis. Do you think you're negatively affected by feminism?
100%.
Guys, do you feel like on a day-by-day basis that you're affected by feminism? Because I don't. Or do I? Do I just not notice? Or maybe you do, and you do not notice.
And so,
120%.
really believe that?
No.
Can you
Because-
explain to me how on a day by day
Because
basis
it makes
it's
them
affecting
feel
you negatively?
because again, masculinity has this mythical eligibility of power.
Wait.
When someone, feminist, what have you, challenges that, it feels like oppression to them. So
Yeah.
it feels
It's not-
like something is
it's
being
not
challenged.
challenging.
That's just my perception. Feel free to disagree, but that's what it looks
I'm
like
not
to me.
oppressed, so I
That's what I'm
challenge
saying.
that perception. But also, too, to go back to your point about feminism, that may have been true with first wave feminism, but with third wave feminism, that is no longer
And I
the
would
case
even argue
anymore.
because
No, I
first wave
disagree.
feminism and third
Guys,
wave
bring it back
feminism.
to the prompt. And then also just, I love the ping-ponging, but just make sure we don't have 5 people talking on top of each other.
all right. There's another side to this too. It's the patriarchy, and so that is.
Oh, God. Talking about the patriarchy. God damn it, man. Okay, it's the society that we live in. It's been run by men. It's going to continue to be run by men. So stop labeling it as the patriarchy. Okay? There has never been a society that has been run by women because it just does not work. Okay? Now, there are different types of societies, different types of patriarchies. But that's all determined by the men who are running it. Okay? And all those men have different forms of values. Okay? Some of those values may seem offensive to other societies. But at the end of the day, if society is strong and thriving, growing, producing, then it is a successful patriarchy, even if certain groups are left unmarginalized and are seen as simply less than. Okay? The world ain't perfect. It's gotta be some cut corners. Okay? So, whatever you got to say about this whole patriarchy BS, it better be rooted in grounding and reasoning.
Is what you are talking about. It is the pressure to be strong, the pressure to protect.
But in what ways is our society a patriarchy today? I know you said values, so I would want to get clarification on what you define a patriarchy.
So we should define patriarchy as a group, because I personally am still having a hard time defining it today, because it is so.
You don't even have a definition. What the heck? You want a definition? I'll give you a definition. Okay? Freaking beta cuck. Patriarchy. A system of society or government in which the father or eldest male is head of the family and descendant is traced through the male line. Okay? Now then. Let's get a more detailed explanation through ChatGPT. So same thing. Patriarchy is a social system in which men hold primary power and predominate in roles of political leadership, moral authority, social privilege, and control of property. In this system, fathers or father figures are the head of the household, and men are encouraged to be dominant and assertive, while women are expected to be submissive and nurturing. This concept is often associated with traditional gender roles and the oppression of women. No. Women are not oppressed because they operate best when they are in their traditional gender roles. Okay? Women are not oppressed by living in a patriarchy because in this society, women are given much more opportunities than ever. Okay? There's not a single opportunity that a woman have that a man doesn't. Okay? Women can work. Women can make their own money. Women can live independently. Women have just as much opportunity as a man has. Okay, so there is no oppression going on, and patriarchies are needed because men are needed. Men are needed to be dominant and assertive if they are to make it in this world, not just in this society, but in this world. And women need to be submissive and nurturing in order for them to be with a strong, dominant, and assertive man who is willing to provide, protect, and give them everything they need.
Talking about something that you can't even define.
So, I'll try and define. Do you want me to try?
Yeah, it's a group, because I personally am still having a hard time defining it today, because it is so
we're talking
massive.
about something that you can't even define.
So, I'll try and define. Do you want me to try?
Yeah, let's do it
On
together.
a broader spectrum, I'd say patriarchal is a societal structure that we have set up that's kind of, what's the word, sociological values of how we set up a hierarchy in our society.
But
and
a
so it's
patriarchy
not
is
a little
defined by, where men are in charge and hold power.
Yeah, but I'm not saying that it's a literal thing where there's some document that somebody wrote where it said men are in charge, women are second. It is a set of sociological values that you see.
So we're changing the definition of patriarchy, which is fine. I just want to make sure we're on the same page.
That's what my definition is. I didn't say there was a set definition.
But that's a red herring.
That's how I'd
Are
find
you
it.
saying we're not in a patriarchal society?
No, I don't believe we are today. So the whole idea that our country is an oppressive patriarchy, it just really gets under my skin because nobody's able to actually tell me what that is. Well, by definition, the patriarchy would be a society where men have power over women and women don't have a voice. And in today's society, that's just not true. Obviously, some people have power over others, but in our society, that has more to do with economic status than actual sex.
Absolutely correct. This young man is absolutely intelligent in how he presents himself, while these emotional beta males on the left, especially these three right here. This guy, he's kind of cool, but not really. He's starting to lose me a little bit. But all of these men, like, they're completely based on their worldviews. They get it. They understand it. They're well educated, and they understand that in the society, your wealth and economic status, it matters a lot. Okay, it matters more. It matters more than just your gender. Okay. Because look, you'll get a lot of respect if you're a wealthy woman, just as you'll get a lot of respect if you're a wealthy man. Okay? So, the fact that these betas are talking about patriarchy in their presence because they don't want to accept the fact that they live in a world in which they need to compete, they need to be assertive, they need to be dominant in this world, and they just because they said right here that they feel that pressure, they don't want to compete. Yeah. So what? Suck it up. It's a cold world out here, gentlemen. Get used to it.
So going back to the prompt, right? The prompt is innocent men feel attacked
I don't even
by
think it was
feminism.
Suffer.
Suffer from
Yeah,
feminism,
attack
right?
is-
So
yeah.
if you make a mistake, you should be held accountable to that mistake.
Absolutely.
Now with the forms of internet coming out and communication going everywhere, y'all are talking about feeling attacked for being able to say certain things or not.
Not attacked.
If you
I just
are-
think that psychologically,
It
that
does
some
suffer.
innocent men do suffer from
But I
the
would say they
narratives that
also
are pushed from
suffer if
feminism.
you're speaking about laws. I think feminism has changed a lot of laws
Like
that
what?
now all are women beneficiaries. So if you look at divorce courts, if you look at family courts, if you look at abortion, if you look at a whole host of laws, all of them are women primary. Men are heavily affected by those.
So going back
He's absolutely correct. The courts always favored the women, even though it's been statistically proven that single father households are much more productive and much more safer for children than single mother households. Even though that men are born providers and protectors, even though all that, the courts still favor women. Okay, even though the guy is completely fine, he's a completely great man, they will still favor the woman. Okay, it's absolutely against men out there. Okay, and if you really want to see how bad it is, go sit in a divorce court and watch how a man's soul is ripped away from him.
I disagree actually on that. I don't actually agree on the whole loss stuff. But just going back to like the prompt on the suffering thing, I do think that you have to be aware that a man can't just go and say whatever they want.
Right.
Where a
Nobody
female
can.
can't.
Should they be
That
able
is,
to?
that is not
Nobody
true.
can.
A female can say a lot more than a man can, especially online, on social media, on the internet.
but a man
There's a
can-
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Even though you little scrawny dude, a woman can easily go on TikTok or on social media, and she can say, "I hate all men. All men need to die. Every single one of them." She can go on a whole rant talking about how men aren't, they aren't worth a damn. They all need to die, and all this and that and the third. Okay, and she will not get flagged. She will not get banned. And eventually, she'll get a whole lot of support because of it. But if a man, hypothetically, if he goes online on TikTok, especially on social media, wherever, and he says, "I hate all women. All women need to die. Don't give these women a chance. Don't talk to women." And he goes on a whole rant talking about how he hates women and women aren't this and women aren't that and they all need to die. That man will be attacked. He will be villainized. He will get canceled. He will get blocked. He will get deleted on social media, especially on TikTok because of hate speech. Even though women do the same thing to men and they rarely, if any, suffer any consequences.
lot of
So physically
there's
do
been
a
a
lot
rape
more
threat
than
made,
women do in society
and women
too,
said
right?
no one
But
will
that's
judge an eye.
biological,
Cancel
that's
culture
not-
doesn't come in. But if a man said that same thing, they
I
would
don't
get
agree.
canceled immediately. I believe men today are really weak. Mostly they're lazy, and I feel like there's no courage. I feel like men today are okay with being losers, and I mean more men need to stand up for what they truly believe in, and I feel like they don't. There's not enough.
Back to the prompt. Do innocent men suffer from feminism? I think look at with this entire
Yep. The jury found that Mr. Depp was defamed by Miss Heard when she described herself in an op-ed as a public figure representing domestic abuse, but also that she had been defamed by one of his lawyers. Yeah, we can all remember that famous case against Johnny Heard, uh, Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. We all remember that, and what's shocking to me is that if Johnny did not record all of those recordings and all the video evidence that he had on her, he would be in jail. 100%. He would be in prison right now at this very moment if he had not recorded. But because he did, and because he has millions of dollars at his disposal to hire some really good attorneys and go through this whole process, he was able to prove to the world that women lie. Women totally have the capability to completely ruin your reputation by lying about you and is willing to go to court, talk on a stand, and lie just to ruin you. And yet, we're supposed to believe all women? When they're just as capable, if not more capable, and are in fact incentivized to lie and manipulate, even though it's more in their nature?
Johnny Depp, Amber Heard situation that happened this past year. You have all of these feminists rushing to the camp to defend Amber Heard, and then all those things come out during that trial. People are like, maybe Johnny Depp isn't the horrible guy that we thought he was, right? So that is an example of feminism radicalizing these people to just be like, I'm going to be anti-male, and I'm going to go root against this guy. But to the point of the political...
How is Johnny Depp a victim of the system? He had his
we
day
have
in
30
court.
seconds left on this prompt, so just finish your thought.
But yeah, but also to Brett Kavanaugh. Big example there.
All right, I heard about this guy. Several Democratic presidential candidates are calling for the impeachment of Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh after the New York Times published an essay September 14th describing alleged sexual misconduct that occurred during his college years at Yale.
You have all these allegations that come up when he's going to be the Supreme Court justice that never came up before.
Right, exactly.
What did that do as far as enable people who have fake accusations to say, I'm going to ride the coattails of the Me Too movement and ruin an innocent man's life?
Really quick though,
That
where's
is wrong.
Brett Kavanaugh right now? He's on the Supreme Court.
He's on the Supreme Court.
Well,
Thank
that's
God,
crazy.
because
And then
Truth
Johnny
won the
Depp,
day.
was he
Because Truth
convicted
won
of
the
a
day.
crime?
Because
he was
Truth
still
won the
suffered.
day.
But that's the point.
He
So,
won in
yeah,
spite of
it's not-
feminism.
it's not-
not
There's a
because of it.
pendulum, and for a really long time, people weren't called out for things, people weren't held accountable. So now, yeah, the pendulum's swinging. Maybe there are going to be some false accusations and stuff going too far. I would rather have 1 million false accusations, like over 1 million people that deserve to be in jail not being in jail. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I'd rather.
What? You'd rather be accused 1 million times than what?
And for a really
You're not as altruistic as you claim to be.
long time, people weren't called out for things, people weren't held accountable. So now, yeah, the pendulum's swinging. Maybe there are going to be some false accusations and stuff going too far. I would rather have 1 million false accusations, like over 1 million people that deserve to be in jail not being in jail. Do you
You'd much rather have 1 million false accusations than 1 million people not go to jail because they deserve to go to jail? I'd rather there be no false accusations and let's take it to the courts with the proper and adequate evidence that's needed to draw up a accurate conclusion before any immediate conclusions can be made. Okay? Innocent until proven guilty.
see what I'm saying? Like, I'd rather
I don't.
people go through false. You'd rather have 1 million people that are
agree to
guilty
disagree.
on the streets than a
Than have
million
1
people
million.
that are not guilty have to go through a trial.
I would rather
All right,
have...
reset.
All right, enough of this.